Have you ever wondered how a child born from a forbidden affair between a mortal woman and the mighty Zeus could rise to become the greatest hero in all of Greek mythology? In the next 20 minutes, join me on a journey from darkness to glory, from guilt to immortality, where Hercules battles not only monsters, but fate itself to become a legend upon Mount Olympus. In Greek mythology, Heracles, known to the Romans as Hercules, is more than just a name. He is an immortal symbol of unparalleled strength and extraordinary wisdom, embodying the indomitable human spirit. His legendary feats echoed throughout the world, earning him not only immortality in the story, but also a place among the stars. The constellation Hercules is named after him, a celestial tribute to a hero whose exploits shook the heavens and inspired generations. At that fateful moment, Zeus, king of the gods, was tormented by a chilling prophecy from the fates. One day, Mount Olympus will be invaded by the Gigantes, the titans born from Gaia's wrath. And when that day came, only a mortal-born hero of unparalleled greatness could save the gods. Determined to shape destiny, Zeus defied every divine law and descended to the mortal world in the form of General Amphitryon, the lawful husband of the noble Alcmene. Under the guise of her beloved, Zeus entered her chamber, and on that sacred night of union, he planted the seed of a savior. But this was no ordinary night. To ensure the birth of Heracles in the purest alignment of the celestial spheres, Zeus commanded the sun to halt its course. Dawn never came. The night stretches 3 times longer, bathed in eternal moonlight and divine enchantment, as the stars hold their breath and time itself obeys the will of Olympus. Just days after returning from war, Amphitryon sensed something unspoken in his wife's gaze, a silence too heavy, a softness unfamiliar. Troubled by doubt, he journeyed to the sacred oracle at Delphi, seeking the truth from Apollo himself. There, beneath the smoke of prophecy and the voice of the divine, the truth was revealed. Alcmene had been touched by God, yet the prophecy also spoke of destiny and greatness. Reassured and moved by divine clarity, Amphitryon cast aside suspicion and chose loyalty, remaining faithfully at Alcmene's side. Not long after, Alcmene gave birth to twin sons, 2 infants born of the same mother, yet destined for vastly different fates. One was Iphicles, the mortal son of Amphitryon. The other, wrapped in a quiet, glowing aura, was Alcides, known in time as Heracles, the divine child of Zeus, born of both heaven and earth, and marked by destiny from his very first breath. Yet before joy could fully blossom, a storm was already brewing on Olympus. Hera, queen of the gods, had learned of Zeus's deceit, and with her, jealousy burned brighter than lightning. Known for her fierce pride and unyielding wrath, Hera was not one to forgive. Enraged by the betrayal, she began to weave a web of divine vengeance, plotting in silence, preparing to strike at the child born of this forbidden union. Seizing a moment when Zeus was overflowing with joy, Hera laid her trap with the grace of a queen and the cunning of a goddess. With a gentle voice and a serene smile, she asked her husband to swear an oath that the throne of Mycenae would belong to the next-born descendant of the heroic bloodline of Perseus, forefather and brother of the glorious child soon to enter the world. Blinded by happiness and unaware of her true intent, Zeus agreed without hesitation, sealing a fate that would shift the balance of Olympus forever. To ensure the oath would favor her scheme, Hera summoned Ilithyia, the goddess of childbirth, and commanded her to hasten the labor of the queen of Mycenae. Obeying the will of Olympus's queen, Ilithyia worked her divine influence, and the child Eurystheus was brought into the world prematurely, after only 7 months in the womb. With this single act of manipulation, Hera bent fate to her will, ensuring that the throne would belong not to Heracles, but to a king born too soon, yet crowned by divine timing. Though fury burned within him, Zeus had no choice but to honor the oath. Bound by divine law, he reluctantly crowned the infant Eurystheus as king. It was a bitter moment. His own son, Heracles, born of greatness, would now live in the shadow of another. And fate, ever cruel and clever, had only just begun, for it would be Eurystheus, not Zeus, who would command Heracles to undertake the 12 impossible labors that would forge his legend. Yet despite the schemes swirling around him, Zeus was overjoyed to have a son born of mortal blood. One night, under the veil of stars, the god descended to earth and gently cradled the infant Heracles in his arms. In secret, he carried the child up to Olympus and placed him at the breast of a sleeping Hera, hoping the boy might drink the divine milk of immortality. Unaware of the child's true origin, Hera nourished the future hero, if only for a moment, long enough to change his fate forever. But when Hera awoke and discovered the infant at her breast, she flung him away in shock and fury. Yet by then, Heracles had nearly drunk his fill. In that sudden burst, a stream of divine milk sprayed across the heavens. And so, legend says, the Milky Way was born, traced by the stars themselves, marking the moment a goddess's anger became a cosmic legacy. It was through the divine milk of Hera, granted unknowingly in a moment of wrath, that the infant gained immortality. And so, in honor of the goddess whose power had unknowingly shaped his destiny, Zeus gave the child a new name, Heracles, glory of Hera. A name born of irony, yet destined to echo through the ages. From the very first night he drew breath, Heracles proved he was no ordinary child. His cry pierced the darkness like a thunderclap, echoing through the heavens as if Olympus itself paused to listen. In that single moment, it became clear this was a soul born not just a man and god, but of destiny. Hera, unable to bear the sight of her rival's child, devised a cruel plan. Under the veil of night, she sent 2 venomous serpents slithering into the infant's cradle, silent assassins meant to end the life of a boy too young to even understand his fate. But Heracles only let out a defiant laugh, lunged at each serpent, and crushed them in his tiny fists. The sight left Amphitryon and Alcmene speechless, caught between pride and dread. For in that moment, they knew their son was no ordinary child, but one destined for greatness and danger beyond imagining. As he grew older, Heracles was sent to study under the wise centaur Chiron, renowned tutor of Greece's greatest warriors and poets. Under Chiron's patient guidance, he mastered the art of combat, chariot driving, archery, and absorbed lessons in science and the arts. Yet despite his strength and sharp mind, Heracles showed little interest in music's quiet tones or the cold logic of numbers. His heart belonged to the clash of weapons and the fire of the battlefield, not the stillness of song or study. One day, after failing to recite his lesson and receiving a harsh blow from his music teacher, young Heracles lost control. In a flash of anger, he swung his lyre, or in some versions a wooden stool, and struck the man down, killing him by accident. Realizing the danger that such strength and temper could bring, Amphitryon made a difficult choice. He entrusted Heracles to the wise centaur Chiron, hoping that atop the tranquil heights of Mount Parnassus, the boy's fury could be tempered by wisdom and discipline. Under the open skies of Chiron's natural academy, Heracles soon proved himself the centaur's most gifted student, turning his body into living armor, honing his mind in strategy, mastering every swing of the spear, and perfecting his deadly aim with the bow. By the time he was 18, he had emerged fully formed, tall, strong, and eyes like tempered steel. With the fire of destiny burning within him, he was ready to step into the chaotic world, to save the helpless and conquer challenges set by gods and mortals alike. Number 1. Starting with the battle with the lion Chiron. Before embarking on his legendary 12 labors, 18-year-old Heracles set himself on a deadly mission to kill a ferocious lion that terrorized Scythian. According to legend, the beast was no ordinary predator. Its hide was as thick as iron armor, and it had claimed countless innocent lives. Undaunted by the danger, Heracles charged into battle, steel club in hand. For 50 days and nights, he pursued the lion through forests and valleys, facing thunderous roars and lightning attacks. Finally, through raw strength and unwavering will, Heracles brought the beast down, marking the first great victory for a hero whose legend was just beginning. Number 2. Save Thebes. Heracles did not rest after slaying the lion of Scythian. When Thebes came under siege, he rose again, this time as the city's unwavering protector. Fighting alongside General Amphitryon, he led the troops with precision and fury, turning the tide of battle through sheer courage and tactical brilliance. Thanks to his timely charge and the blazing spirit of Theban warriors, the invaders were crushed, the borders held, and peace restored. These two heroic triumphs, defeating the monstrous lion and saving Thebes, echoed across central Greece, marking Heracles as a rising legend. Number 3. Short-lived happiness and tragedy caused by Hera. The gratitude of the king of Thebes knew no bounds. He offered his only daughter, the beautiful Megara, to Heracles in marriage. Their home soon blossomed with joy, blessed by the birth of 3 spirited sons, though some legends speak of as many as 8. In those peaceful days, Heracles found rare happiness in the warmth of family, even as he journeyed across the land, using his strength not for glory, but to bring peace to others. Yet Hera, the goddess who had never ceased to loathe Zeus's illegitimate son, was never far behind. In her relentless hatred, she cast a mysterious madness upon Heracles, clouding his mind and tearing away all reason. Consumed by a storm of confusion and fury, the mighty hero committed an unspeakable act. His hands turned unknowingly against his own family. And when the darkness finally lifted, he found himself cradling their lifeless forms, weeping in anguish, a broken man mourning what could never be undone. Number 4. The vow at Delphi and the death sentence of 12 years of slavery. To atone for his unspeakable sins, Heracles climbed the sacred steps of the temple of Apollo at Delphi, seeking forgiveness and salvation. There, the god spoke through his oracle, a stern yet compassionate voice of divinity. Heracles was ordered to serve King Eurystheus of Mycenae for 12 long years. But this was not mere service. To be purified, he would have to complete 12 extraordinary labors, each a test not only of brute strength, but also of courage, wisdom, and will. Thus began the path that would give rise to legend. Number 5. Heroic programs after 12 feats. Even after completing his legendary 12 labors, Heracles did not rest. He joined the famous Argonauts, boarding the ship Argo with 50 of Greece's bravest warriors in search of the Golden Fleece in faraway Caucasus. His strength and cunning also played a key role in the initial assault on Troy, paving the way for future legends of the Trojan War and the rise of Achilles. In the next video, we'll delve into these epic campaigns and discover just how powerful and skilled Heracles really was. Number 6. The tragedy of Diana and her tearful death. Upon returning from Troy, Heracles received a gift from his wife, Diana, a cloak accidentally soaked in the blood of the centaur Nessus, who had once carried them across the river. Believing it to be a love charm, she hoped it would keep his heart faithful. But as Heracles donned the cloak, a mysterious pain consumed him, burning deeper than his flesh. In unbearable torment, he turned to the noble archer Philoctetes. In exchange for his sacred bow, Heracles asked for one last mercy, a pyre to end his suffering. As the fire raged on Mount Ida, his pain was assuaged, not by death, but by transcendence. A mortal body faded, and an immortal legend was born. Number 7. Immortality on Mount Olympus and eternal happiness. As the flames of parting flared where the sea and sky mingled, Heracles' spirit prepared to ascend. In a sacred pact with Hera, Zeus granted his son immortality, welcoming him into the ranks of the gods on Mount Olympus. To heal the long-standing feud, Hera finally gave in to her wrath, offering her daughter Hebe, the radiant goddess of youth, as Heracles' bride. And so, The glory of Hera was no longer just a name carved among the stars, but a soul held in eternal joy, forever venerable, forever sacred.